Hey everybody, what's going on? It's been a while since I've actually done this. It's a live show. Holy shit. Comic-Con podcast. One of your hosts, of course, Justin, aka Nemesis Prime, and my buddy Zach. What's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, dude? Yeah, I mean, we don't really do live too much, kind of the podcast format, right? But seemed like this is the way to go, right?
Yeah,
With
we had some people
topics.
that wanted to know what was going on and discussions, and we said, you know what, we obviously talk about comic stuff during the week, and by the time Friday rolls around, I don't think anybody wants to hear about this anymore. And plus, we have a guest this upcoming week, so if you're new checking this out live, or if you're checking us out on the rewind, we are the Comic Con podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Anchor FM, and Amazon Music. This week we have a guest. So, like I said, we probably would spend the entire hour talking about this. So,
Right.
people that have been following us, they've been messaging me, and obviously, I've been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram. So, people want to know. So, we're here to kind of discuss this stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean,
it's go
the
ahead.
Comic Con podcast, for sure, it's about the community, right? Like, that's what we like to talk about. If you haven't listened to our podcast before, we always usually start our segments with a community section, whether it's information or questions from the community, or unfortunately, like today, drama, or maybe it's fortunately like today, I don't know, drama in the community, but definitely issues that like need to be talked about. And this is not a small issue for at any by any means. This isn't, yeah, like the butcher said, the book that shook the world, right? Who
Yeah.
would have thought? Who'd have
Yeah.
thunk it? So,
But I think it's great because you were completely MIA all weekend.
dude, had
Like,
no idea.
yeah.
Like, was traveling yesterday as apparently like the shit hits the fan. Oh yeah, you want Ezra Miller watch? Well, you have to tune in this week to the episode for that. But
Everybody knows the Miller Watch stuff. So,
yeah,
we appreciate it, RP. Thanks for stopping in.
yeah, man. So yeah, traveling, and Justin's kind of messaging me, but I'm out of town, and shit, I had to catch up big time.
Yeah. So let's kind of we're gonna give you everyone the quick version. Obviously, the book is Ultimate Fallout 4, Clayton Crane facsimile edition, acetate cover. Go ahead and check out Keep It Thorough Comics. Go ahead and check out Pressable Defects. Those guys did a great job kind of going over the book, going over a lot of things that have transpired since Friday. Obviously, we're recording this on a Tuesday night, so some new news has been dropping. But of course, everyone needs to know what's going on with us and what we think because we have some issues. So, of
Right.
course, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, like outside of what everyone else kind of talked about, myself and Justin have a little bit of insight into certain aspects of this, and some experience with certain people involved in this situation, and we definitely want to touch on that as well. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, you want to lead us off with background on the book and some of the new information that came out?
All right, so let's get right into the article. I'm going to put that up on the screen. We're going to get into this. So, of course, over at Bleeding Cool, they literally just dropped this giant, monumental article about how Marvel did not approve the acetate cover. You can go ahead and read it over at bleedingcool.com. Really want to get down to the nitty gritty. Of course, it was limited to 750 copies. Now, this book, let's kind of go over this for people that don't know. This book came out last year, non acetate. Clearly, they had leftover copies. Clearly, what they're doing is taking unsold material and just adding acetate to it and basically saying, hey, here's a brand new book, short print run, go ahead and buy it. And what the problem here is this Black Flag is giving all retailers, whether and obviously Unknown Comics, Comic Mint, Frankie's, KRS, whoever that's sitting on dead stock to do this, which is this is what's the worst about it.
Hmm.
But the article really where I really want to touch on, obviously we get down to the nitty gritty is, and this is obviously as of today, Bleeding Cool has confirmed that Marvel Comics did not approve Black Flag's edition of an acetate cover as a further variant and is not something that they would permit. I am sure David Gabriel, as SVP Print Sales and Marketing in Marvel, is having a fascinating conversation with Black Flag Comics right now while stopping copycat moves from other retailers. And that's some big stuff. Like that's again, there was some rumors over the weekend that Marvel didn't know, but obviously, Bleeding Cool has now confirmed it. And then they also go on to talk about how they reached out to Clayton Crane, they reached out to Marvel, as well as to CGC. Now, before we get into more information today, CGC did drop on their chat boards, which is something that I follow quite often, about what they decided. So they decided, obviously, CGC's response is right here. They treated like any other variant. Their president of the acetate cover being attached to a printed book and then graded by CGC. An example is Stray Dogs #1, and we're going to get into that, which came out last year. An acetate cover was attached with an extra set of staples to which CGC assigned a universal label and a notification of acetate covers on the label. Okay, so let's get back to Stray Dogs #1, because guess what? I have those copies. Here is Stray Dogs #1, bottom right-hand corner. You know who that is? That's Sophie right there. That's Sophie's button tail from Stray Dogs.
Oh,
You can see the UPC. It ends in 0111. Here is the acetate cover. It ends in 00141, and it definitely has a different price job. So, Black Flag, the same UPC shows up on both these books. Now, again, if you're a smart collector, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's hanging out with us is a smart collector and is not buying this book, good job for you.
right.
I'm like just floored. Now I went into further details because obviously people don't think that that's enough. Here is a sexy Vampirella #6 from last year, done by Art Germ. That big one right there, it says Art Germ blood splattered acetate cover. Look at that UPC 6011. Now you can't really see all these UPCs over here on the left hand side, but you could kind of see them. They were 1 in 10s, they were foils, they were whatever, all for issue #6. All have different UPC codes. That's clearly what it is. It's a different UPC for every cover. Black Flag is literally frauding all you people. I don't know why everybody is going out and trying to get this book.
It's just like FOMO for Miles Morales or something. I don't know. Everyone thinks it's all gonna hit now. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Let's not even and that's not even talking about the butchered quote on the back in God we entrust. Like
mhm.
just horrible, horrible, horrible.
Yeah. Butcher has it. You done fucked up, right? So again, we appreciate everybody hanging with us. It's going to be fun for the next 45 minutes. So obviously the book came out. That was the one issue. Now we get into the issue of influencers, quote unquote, cutting the line, which obviously that wasn't the thing, right?
Right. So that's the deal. It's like, of course, you got a couple issues with this book, and one of them being whether you like the book or not, what Black Flag did, incorrect or correct, whether CGC grading them 9.9s, 9.10s, blue labels rather than greens, all those things. That's its own issue, right? And then you have the other issue about con etiquette, influencers, and how things should go moving forward. And I say con etiquette. I guess what I really should mean, or what I really mean, is etiquette as being a good human being. So I think Justin and I definitely understand, and I think most people do understand that, some people do this as a business, and you purchase these books and you sell and flip these books. But cutting in line and getting 75 copies of a book and then immediately selling it on an auction channel in an area where you have prominence, and flipping the book while it's being sold and while people are waiting right at that moment for exorbitant amounts of money is not a good look for anyone. I mean, it's one thing to buy the books, buy them in bulk, 20 copies, whatever, and you want to flip them. And then, next week after C2E2 is done, they're all sold out. And on eBay, the prices are a little higher. To me, that's a different game. That's totally a different game. But doing it right then, like basically like, yo, here's my 60, 70 books, my 75 books. I run over and I'm live while people can watch you in line waiting for that book. And you're selling these books at like 3 times the price.
Yeah. Now, obviously, people know who the culprits of C2E2 were. You have Nerdy Girl Comics and you have Skeff's Comic Knowledge.
Mhm.
You all know, if you've been listening to us for the past few months, we made our opinion on those people on the podcast. Those people, we'll get into that a little bit later. But those people, obviously, some people have problem with them in the community. We obviously they don't live rent free in my head. I don't care for them. I don't follow them, whatever. But the fact that you see this, right? You see this the people in line saw this, right? How bad does that look for you as a quote unquote influencer? That's
Right.
where we really need to talk about it. Skeff, great fucking guy. Absolutely awesome guy. Been on an auction with him. We talk Star Wars in DMs. We comment. We tag each other. Great guy. When you go out and take 750 print run and 2 people take literally 25%, little more, to about 200 total copies, that's kind of messed up. It's messed up It's fine. Listen, like I know I've been in the con circuit for a very long time.
Mhm.
This stuff has Danielle, Skeff, you're listening, you're watching, rewind. Someone's going to tell you this. More power to you. Great, you have the money for this, but this is done behind closed doors. This is not done on the con floor. Like it's not done like, hey, here's a stack of books, which I have in front of me. Here's a stack of my CGC books. That's not how it's done. It's done in a hotel. It's done maybe after the first day or before, way before, maybe even on setup day on Thursday.
Right.
It's not done in like that's what really is crazy. And the fact that like what we said 2 months ago and people came at us
Yeah.
saying that we're haters, and all of a sudden now those people are like, wow, I don't know, man, maybe you should have listened to us.
Yeah, like
Saying.
Goon said it's really bad optics, man. It's really bad optics. And like Justin said, so we brought this up about a month or so ago based on information brought to us from someone in the community, not something we knew about, brought to us, told to us about Nerdy Girl Comics and Skeleton Key Comics, making a stupid comment about their overinflated belief in themselves. We talked about it for a full, I believe, 7 to 8 minutes on an hour-long normal podcast of our show. And you would have thought we set their house on fire with the backlash. And so Justin and I haven't really spoken about it too much, but our DMs were flooded with stories from people throughout the community, from some of the highest people you wouldn't even know in the community, writing us personal stories saying they agreed with us, more stories about horrible things that they've done. We also received, unfortunately, messages from friends, past guests, friends of our channel and our shows saying that they were harassed and bullied by the same people who always cry about being bullied. Nerdy Girl Comics in particular, always crying about being kind, stay kind. Why can't we be kind? She's one of the notoriously rudest and most horrible individuals in the comic book community. The Rage Theo, this guy's out here sliding into the DMs of our friends and
Me.
co-hosts and people and Justin sliding
Yeah.
into their DMs, harassing and trying to bully these people. These
Yeah.
are the people who try to tell you they're comic fan.
So yeah, it was very tough to sit back. You figure you literally go on whatnot, and all these people who consider themselves influencers. And listen, anybody who gives anybody information, that's an influence. But if
Yeah,
you give them the title of influencer, then that's giving them more power, right? That's how it is. Like I'm a nobody. Listen, I'm a nobody. Like my name's
samesies.
Nemesis Prime. Right there. My name's Justin. You all know me. I've been on Instagram for a while. Zach, you all know him too. We're nobodies, right? That's at the end of the day. I have a real job. Zach's got a real fucking job. Like we do this for fun. This isn't our business. But for the people that were out at C2E2 and Danielle, who does this as a business and who is there, and again, that's great and all, but you just don't do it in front of everybody. It makes you look bad. And
Right.
I'm sorry, like that's the problem. And you're giving, and then obviously, and we don't condone or we don't associate ourselves with we don't have an allegiance to anybody. Those people like Batcave Comics and Decor Collectibles, they're savages on Instagram. We all know them. We laugh, we look at,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of other people that did a lot of great memes this past week, and they were quite interesting, if I do say so myself. But
Yeah.
there's a
You
lot of
know,
people that are part of that, group of comic book community, comic book collectors, whatever you want to call them, influencers who got copies. A lot of people were backtracking. You heard stories from, well, I had Danielle, I bought 75 copies, but I was giving them to 8 different people. And then they're selling them on whatnot and eBay and whatever. It's fine. Again, you're fine. You bought all these copies. Awesome. You buy dead stock from everybody does it. I know this. I've been to cons. People do this behind the stores. But again, everybody hanging out in the chat, everybody watching the rewind, everybody who's going to tell anybody about this, it's tough.
yeah, like
Tough.
that's the thing. Like Justin said, we're regular dudes, man. Like we're not out here. Obviously we never go live on YouTube. We're not getting any payments on our views or anything like that. Whether we had 200 people watching our shows or listening to our podcast or 20, I'm sure Justin and I would still be doing this because we like getting together and talking comics. Two friends talking comics, right?
Mhm.
These individuals, did they fuck up? Hell yeah, they fucked up. Everyone knows they fucked up. Okay. But the problem is They will never admit blame. That is the biggest issue with every single one of these individuals. And let's touch on that a little bit. So, one of the things they're notorious for, and Justin brought up, our friends Batcave, Decor Collectibles. These guys do
Oh,
go
they're not really
hard.
friends. They're people that we are
Yeah,
following, right?
people
They're
we
not
talk
like I
to,
don't
and
know them
yeah,
personally, but I
we
just
don't know
want
them. Yes, they go hard in the paint, and they're allowed their opinion. They are allowed to say what they want. Sometimes I say we. I agree with some of the stuff they say. I don't agree with some of the other stuff they say. But you know what? It's their opinion. They're allowed to say what they want. These people, this crew, oftentimes will block, call people bullies, and then ostracize and try to cancel behind the scenes. And then they never actually own up to anything. They never actually speak to what they did or hold any form of accountability. Perfect example with this situation, C2E2. All the names were thrown out, from Nerdy Girl to Comic Tom to Skeleton Key to Rage Theo to Gem Mint Collectibles, all these people, Golden Age Guru. Now, real talk, Skeleton Key Comics was not there. Okay. So probably not great to throw her in on this situation. But honestly, you associate with who you associate with. You are branded with this group. That's how you brand yourself. Sometimes when some person's stinky, you're fucking stinky too. That's just how it is. But one individual, Comic Tom, was also criticized for the same actions here. He came out, straight up said, I wasn't there. I was busy at the booth. Neither was Golden Age Guru. That's very important because he specifically said Golden Age Guru wasn't there. But if you go check out some of these Instagram accounts, you can see pictures of Golden Age Guru selling the same book for about $260 or so.
Mhm.
So, bold-faced lie right then and there. I think it's also very interesting. And I think you're going to see this, some predictions for the future. You will see some of these individuals eating each other alive. And I think he showed you Tom is going to protect Golden Age Guru. That's his boy. But you notice how he didn't protect any of the other ones. He never said anyone else's name. So just wait to see who eats who in this situation.
Mm. Yeah. And the reason, and obviously, this is not hearsay from us. This is not people saying like, "Oh, well, hey, they messaged myself or
Mhm.
him," right? It's Comic Man Andy came on Keep It Thorough on Sunday night, and he said he was in line. Andy was in line waiting that day at C2E2, and Jem and Tom and Guru were behind him. And then at one point, it was kind of they weren't there. Now, could they have then kind of gotten the wink from somebody that purchased quite a bit of comics and
Maybe
said,
someone who
"Don't wait in
purchased
line"?
75 copies for 9 other people, right? Based on
Yeah,
their story from their mouth?
maybe.
Maybe.
So, yeah. Um, again, we have, and like Zach said, we over the past couple months, they don't live rent free in my head, but people have come out, they've emailed us, myself, Zach, the podcast, email, DMs, whatever, with tons of stories on these people, and it kind of makes it feel like now's the time to really figure out where the community lies. Like, listen, half these goddamn people right now in this chat were in fucking Terrificon 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Half of these people were drinking beers with us. No drama, all fun. You know us as real ass people.
Yeah, like it was ridiculous. Jay, Comic CT, Emerald, obviously me, you, Matt, the freaking Forge guys, like we were all at the show at Terrificon, and there was not a bloody incident that you could name. There was no backdoor dealings. And oh, wait, but if there was, it was done in back doors. It wasn't done in the front. When Zach and we did it, right? Zach, we walked in on Friday. We
Yeah.
purchased some of the exclusive Terrificon variants. We walked up to the what was it, the one booth that had Ariel and John Jang's stuff.
Yep.
We ended up doing a show on Whatnot that night and tried to sell them. We didn't decide to buy the entire stock in front of everybody.
We bought one copy each.
Yeah, there it is, Jay. I'm just bull riding. That's exactly what it was. That was the issue. So, uh, but some people, I really feel bad for Skeff. Again, he is a great dude. He's a big up and comer. He's literally he went from like this to being like this massive person on Whatnot, great person in the community, and he's just mixed in with a bad thing right now. and he's completely gone AWOL, MIA. He hasn't posted anything. You would think by now, man, that guy is on Whatnot every day selling or giving away stuff, and I haven't seen him at all, and it's crazy. Um, and of course, like I said, you could go back to the guys over at Keep It Thorough Comics and Pressable Defects to really learn a little bit more on this. But some new stuff that kind of was coming to light. Other than that, was again, we said that Marvel was there. One other thing that we didn't really talk about, and we're gonna just add this in, and then we're gonna kind of keep moving as well. Part of the community was so CBCS came out. So Steve Ricketts is the head presser over at CBCS. He came out and literally posted this in their chat boards, basically taking a side and basically saying that if they were adding an acetate cover to an existing book, it would probably get a 7.0 because it has added staples. But
Damn.
of course, the book in question is a manufactured variant by a third party and not an actual solicited variant that was produced by the publisher. And I'll add that the comic would be identified as the base comic. We would not give a variant name to a book that was not intended variant produced by the publisher. I just wanted to also throw that out there. But we have another thing, and this is crazy. This is where you really see people that were big names in the community. This is from our man Wink Inc. Now, he posted this on his Instagram literally not too long ago and was sent to me by another Instagrammer. And clearly, he's very, for him, he wasn't part of it. He was obviously, like he says in here, and you can go ahead and check out his Instagram. He's not part of it. But what I do want to highlight is that what he says is obviously I want to move forward forward in content creation and interaction. I've always tried to do the right thing, and I would even go as far as challenging everyone to find someone that has done more in the past few years. I have propped up and pushed countless creators through thresholds and barriers, all the while supporting endless causes and bringing forth an entirely fresh level of positivity and support for everyone in this hobby. I get it. You can't be liked by everyone, and sometimes your intent isn't always perceived well. I guess I can say is to say that C2E2 this year has really had me considering what relationships I should value, and more importantly, the ones I shouldn't. I'm gonna sit
Yeah,
back for a second.
that's a big statement.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So, oh, go ahead. No,
no,
you go.
all you, man.
No, I
I'm a
was going
little
to say,
parched.
Xander brought up a good point. So, and that kind of takes us into something we kind of wanted to get into as well. Is he says it would be good for these influencers to apologize, even if it's not sincere. But that's the thing, like they won't apologize, and they never have apologized. All you've heard is excuses, 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 and lies and lies and lies. And that's kind of what we want to talk about is the response to this. For example, let's talk about Gem Mint's response and his video. Okay. So what did he say? He went on and basically called all the people peasants, poor peasants who couldn't be at the cons and are haters and just are sitting at your couch, fatting at home, and you can't buy the books and you're upset because they have all this money and they need to spend the money and they need to flip the books and make their thing. I mean, that's in a nutshell what he said, right? It's kind of the abbreviated version of what Gem Mint said. The thing is, Gem Mint does think that about you. I know he thinks that about you. I know because I've known Gem Mint for a very long time. And he thinks that he can say what he wants and that you guys, the community, will listen. Exact words. It doesn't matter what I say. People will eat it up. That's exactly what he says. And that's exactly what he thinks because he is a massive narcissist. And they all are massive narcissists. Look,
and we are in this place. We all are narcissists. We all, crave attention. Obviously, that's why we post our books on Instagram. That's why we make YouTube haul videos. We all want to be liked in some form. Like the world's not perfect. Life's not perfect. We get away from comics. I was thinking about this today. I would love to go back to the days of like not knowing anything and just reading comics.
Right.
That's like not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, the community is great and all, but sometimes I do miss just reading the books and enjoying the comics. But, I just nerdy.
But isn't it odd? But isn't it odd that like Gem came out and did this recap drama video, and then obviously Thorough had it on last night, so you can't see it anymore. But if you go on Keep It Thorough's channel, you can actually watch the full video. It takes a while to get through a 7-minute video, but they go through it. and he deleted it because, whatever reasons he says, and I don't care to look it up because I just don't care for Jem. I don't follow him. I don't need to follow him. But, why take the time to like make this video and then you're going to delete it? Like, are you
Oh,
like, did you say something incriminating and
I
like
can
now you're backtracking?
I can help explain why he would do something like that. So
Why would he do that?
he made the video because he knew what happened. He knew there was drama. And for him, it was an opportunity to capitalize on the drama. Okay. So it was his intention to get views off the drama. And he thought he was going to be able to paint it and be the superhero and sweep in and protect all of his friends. But yeah, he came out there, said nothing, looked horrible. I mean, looking through the comments, I think 90% of them were not good comments, which is saying something because as of being a former part of the Gem Mint Collectibles channel, the Geminites are among the biggest dick riders I've ever met in my life. These people would take anything Gem Mint says to heart. And these people were in there saying they disagreed with him, were going to stop following him, and didn't think that what he had to say was right or correct at all. So yeah, he had to get rid of it. It backlashed and burned him bad. It made him look horrible, made him look worse than he could have looked with that haircut, which is not even possible. But it's just insanity to me that the narcissism level involved of coming out and thinking you can try to save the world by telling everyone they're basically peasants and you can't afford these books and stay out of their lane. Stay out of the influencers' lanes.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's really for the views because you get paid, right? Is that kind of
Well, yeah, I mean, he needs the payment. I mean, this is a guy who quit his job to do YouTube full time and then just recently complained about not getting views. People say he's saying he's the LeBron James of YouTube. I don't know about that. Comic Tom seems to get a lot more views than the Gem Mint Collectibles
yeah.
subscribers and bots that are on that channel. So I don't
So
know
kind
about
of
that, LeBron.
back to like the book and the community part because obviously this is what we just posted on Wink's thing, right? Is one thing. Like he's a great dude. I'm pretty sure the majority of the people watching
Yeah,
and or rewatching know who Winking is. Like I follow him. You know, it's crazy. Um, there's other people in the community that saw what happened. They're perturbed by this. They're upset by this. I mean, hell, like if I was waiting in line and all of a sudden I see this, like it's bad news. It's bad news bears, as they say that. Uh Zach, I mean, from you, like you are someone who I guess was in a channel or would be
hmm
a high end influencer, right? You were at one point, I would say you were probably a pretty popular person, but I'm sure like you still and you saw last week at Terrificon like what it's like in a real community aspect
right.
where there is no drama and there's people here in this chat that literally have no problems and people that we've met that are actually great people, right?
Yeah.
But do we do any backdoor deals with anybody? Do we screw anybody over? Are we looking to screw anybody over?
No,
I've never screwed anybody over. And if I have, please feel free. Throw it out
never.
to me. Like I feel like, and I had this conversation with someone, I feel like my reputation in this comic book community is on a standard above standard level. Like I try not to F with anybody. Like it's if I have, I don't know. Like, I just can't imagine trying to do that. Like, I like where I'm at. I like all the fucking relationships I've made over the past couple of years, and
Right.
being on YouTube, being on Instagram, being on whatnot, going to these conventions and hanging out with half these people. Like, come on, like it's something that's a little different. And I'm sure like you've seen a different side of the with certain people.
Yeah, so I mean, I would first off never considered myself an influencer. Getting into
Sorry.
the YouTube game, it was only kind of arm twisting, and I did it because I thought I was talking comics with someone who I thought was my friend. I mean, that's why I did it. You know, I loved the opportunity to sit and talk comics. I was completely surprised when people wanted to listen to what I had to say and continued to show up to the late night drinking sessions for 2 or 3 hours talking nonsense comic books. I mean, that was what it is to me. That's what it still is to me to this day. Like you said, or and like I said earlier, we don't do any monetizing. We don't make any money. I'm on Whatnot maybe once every 3 months, and that's just to clear up a room in my house. I sell on eBay. My prices are amazing. I'm not trying to make money off anything. I read comics. I get rid of comics so I have more room to put more comics. That's my life in comic books. Um,
So
I think, yeah,
let's kind of flip. I'm going to flip. Obviously, we've been talking about this for 30 minutes. I want to kind of flip into what you just said about selling comics, and then
yeah,
we definitely want to take some questions because obviously at 9 o'clock we're on Lords. So, a lot of people, and I feel like it's tough. Like a lot of people went after Whatnot. A lot of people went after Whatnot, right? Saying
right.
that whatnot. How can you let these people sell on your app? How can you let this book be on your app? Listen, if again, we went back to it. Zach and I bought books at Terrificon. We bought some of the exclusives. We tried to do shows that Friday night to try to sell some. We sold some. We didn't sell some. So you can't blame Whatnot. Like Whatnot is the quickest platform, and I don't know if people realize that. I don't know if a lot of people in here are on Whatnot, but Whatnot is the quickest platform to sell anything. Like you could sell a book, any of those books in a minute. If you post them on eBay, whether you do buy it nows, you do an auction for 1 day, 3, 5, 7, I've done it all. Like it takes a while.
Mhm.
So you have these people who go, they're either selling at the booth, selling at their hotel room, selling on the freaking floor. I've seen like literally doesn't matter. So I hate that Whatnot's name got dragged in there because obviously I'm a big seller, not big seller, I shouldn't say that, but
But you're
I
active.
like selling
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
Like it's a fun app. So like I have to say that, a lot of people are, well, why does Whatnot allow that? Why are they doing their terms, they're voiding their terms and conditions because of, all this stuff. It's a fraudulent book. I don't know. I don't want to say that it is and isn't, whatever it is. But you know, obviously there's a lot of people that are part of that influencer community that sold at C2E2. They
Mhm.
all sold that book. They all got that book somehow. And now Whatnot's getting all the blame. It's not their fault. And I think
Yeah.
people need to understand that it's not Whatnot's fault that these people sold that book on there. It's how these people got that book.
True, and I agree with you. I don't think it's Whatnot's fault by any means as a platform. But I will deviate a little bit when I say that the problem is Whatnot has taken this group of people and they have put them up as their spokespeople. They very much have become the face of Whatnot. It's maybe not all across Whatnot, but for the comic book market, they've become the face. They've become the face of comics at cons specifically, and with all their live shows. So what Whatnot is going to suffer is these are your people. These people are bad and have looked bad, and now you have to suffer with that, and that's unfortunate. Um, it's unfortunate too because like we said a month or two ago, we told you, other people have told you. I know people and Whatnot know the truth about these people, but yet they still employ these people and use these people and have them represent them. And eventually, stuff like that always is going to come back and bite you in the ass. So, no, I do not believe Whatnot is to blame for this at all. But I don't think it was a good idea to take these influencers and make them the face of your company and then they go bad. And yeah, like J2 Ramirez says, guilty by association. You're damn right. That's how the world works. Everyone. You have a shitty friend. Growing up, I remember I had bad friends. My parents were always like, you can't hang out with that kid. He's a bad kid. You'll be guilty by association. That's the nature of the world. So I don't know, man. Yeah. I get it, Goon. Like I understand why they would use these people. They have big platforms, they have big, voices in the community. But I don't know. I honestly think that if Whatnot wants to be more about the community, then it should be random sellers that come, like not the same people that are getting pushed. And if you don't think backdoor deals are going on, you're ignorant,
Mm.
naive.
Yeah. I like back issue Paulie's got it. Black Flag is the villain in this entire story, and they unloaded books to the worst person in front of a crowd of regular people.
True. The worst people.
Yeah. Worst people. It's not just one person.
Yeah.
It was several people. And of course, like I said, if you check out Keep It Thorough, he's got photos. I mean, literally people that are nobodies taking photos of the people that were taking all these books. And yeah, it's weird because it's almost like if you look at Black Flag and you're like, did Black Flag now just become like this big thing because now everybody's
Like
talking
their
about them?
popularity just skyrocket
Yeah,
off
like,
this.
but at the same time, you got a con this weekend. It goes back to you brought 750 copies on a Friday, and The guy even came on and he even talks about like being at a convention this week and he's going to be at Boston. You're going to tell me between Chicago and Boston, you can't sell 750 copies of this book because of your $85 price tag? You were afraid? Holy shit. Come on.
Yeah, Binky's 100% right. I mean, it's every venue or every business in the world. Look at all these professional athletes who get in trouble and lose their sponsorships. This is what happens. This is why big companies like Nike and all them drop these people when stuff happens. So, I mean, you run the risk of making someone the face of your company. Here's a perfect example. There is a very famous restaurant company. This is so my buddy. Let me give a shout out to my buddy for comics who used this analogy with me today when I was talking about this situation. There's a very famous restaurant out there called Subway. They used a gentleman by the name of Jared to be the face of their company. Jared ended up being involved in child pornography. How did that work out for Subway? Not too well. You should not have people as your face and your brand if you don't know who they are. I mean, look at Diamond Comics, look at Comic Connect, look at Metropolis Comics, all these guys. There's no real face of the company. There's no face and brand. They're just a business and a company, and they do their job well. Yeah, everyone knows who runs it. Everyone knows who the top dogs are, but there's no people out in front doing everything they can do, being all up in the videos, all that. I mean, this is the problem, man. Now, this is where I hope Whatnot can get past this. I think they can. I think it's a strong and a good business, and they're doing great things out there. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens.
Interesting. Like Emerald Knight says, Clayton
Oh,
Crane canceled Boston. I wonder why. Yeah, like you said, it's and for those that don't know, like Clayton Crane owns part like that Infinite Black and Black Flag are, he has he's a silent partner. He is. All they do is Crane variants. Like if you don't know that and you don't realize that, then but it is what it is on that.
I did read something about Clayton Crane saying, kind of complaining about this and saying this is all. I don't know the full like details here, so I may butcher this, but briefly read that Clayton Crane came out and said this is all ridiculous and this is all like indicative of like woke culture. And
Mhm.
I was like, I was like, how is this anything to do with woke culture? This has to do with people ripping off other people and just doing shady business practices. And honestly, just not smart business practices. Not even, look, shady or not, the main thing is this shit was stupid. Like you couldn't have been dumber, in my opinion, to do this shit. So it just was not a good look, man.
Yeah, again, cover price, CBSI. The book shows up. The book that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know where. I don't really know where it is on the top 10. But again, Black Flag literally they're really to blame. Again, they're to blame on this. But as for us, you, me, everyone in the chat, the community, your community influencers, and I forgot who I saw. I think the Doom posted this. We outnumber the influencers 100 to 1,
Right.
right? They need us. We don't need them. Like if you need somebody, again, we talk comics all the time here, right? On the podcast, I'll tell you, listen, maybe go out get this book. Could be a good book. Here's the first appearance. Go out and get it. Am I an influencer? If you listen to me, sure. Would I call myself one? No. But fuck, man, it's terrible. It's really bad that like this is where we're at with this fucking book, man. And this is where we at with the community. Like
Right.
I've never seen, and my wife always says to me, like, you guys are a bunch of high school girls. And it's the God's honest truth. We all are, but we're not, because Terrificon was the complete opposite of the shit that went down in Chicago.
There is a cancer in the community, and I think everyone knows what it is, and it needs to be cut out. But like the only people who can do that is the community. Stop purchasing books from these people. Keep in mind, some of these individuals, not all of them, one in particular, does not need this job. One in particular high sells books at the highest level, makes millions of dollars on high-end books and video games, and is out here buying 70 copies of a book to flip for a damn near $60 profit. That's not because the money's needed to survive. That's because the fame and staying in the forefront in the spotlight. That's what they want. The narcissism. So this isn't, they're out here flipping these books for $60, which is peanuts to them, and taking the books from fans who were waiting in line who might have been just wanted this. I mean, this was a crappy ass book regardless, but a person who wanted this damn book for a private collection. You know what I mean? So remember that who you're buying from.
And what even is what's funny is, and obviously the video's gone, but Jem talks about they don't talk about their losses. Nobody cares when we lose money. Bitch, do you know how much like that I spend on books that then when I try to resell them, I don't make my value back? But do you see me crying to everybody on Instagram and whatnot? Like, hey, I just bought this fucking Haunted Mansion #1 for $20 and I may only sell it for 10. Do you see me crying? Like, no, like
You
people
chose
take
this
fine.
life.
They took a risk. They took
Yeah.
a risk. Whether it happens and it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, then that's not my concern. Like, and I don't want to hear about it. But like
Right.
Jem to say that, like, I don't care.
Right. You chose to quit your job. You chose to do this full time. You chose to overextend yourself, and you're crying about not getting enough views so you can make your money and flipping books, and no one cares. No one cares at the con about the individual going up to buy 70 books so they can flip these books. Not the guy who's waiting in line to buy one book for their own collection. It's nuts. Yeah, I mean, reaching out and asking for like pity and understanding on your losses is the height of absurdity.
Yeah, I don't get it. So, that's kind of our little discussion. I hope everyone enjoyed it. We have a good 15 to 18 minutes left before Lords, so we'll take any questions here on the podcast, or we'll throw out some highlighted comments because I've kind of said it all.
Yeah,
And I think,
I
you know
will.
what, and let me preface it that I think we here on the podcast, or anybody who's new to listening to us, we are obviously, when we came up with this, right? We called it the Comic Con podcast, the comic community podcast, because we have people on in the community. We take questions, we take emails, voicemails. We are not haters. Like, I'm not a hater of Danielle. I'm not a hater of Skeff. I'm not a hater of Jem or any of those other people. I don't care about them. But those are the people that are your influencers. So they have to be talked about. Again, we had an opinion 2 months ago, and I'm getting DMs from people saying that people were harassed. Like, my friends were
Right.
harassed. I was literally like the face of the podcast. They didn't touch this guy right here. They didn't drop
Pretty
into his
pointing.
DMs. I wonder why. Like, but like that's what this podcast was created for. Like, it was part of the comic community. I love everybody in this, like, that's hanging out with us. Again, the friends that we've made over the past year and a half doing this, the people that I made friends with on Whatnot, the relationships I've made, like, it's a no joke thing. Like, to
Yeah.
get away from when I leave my job, my career for the weekend, and I go to a show or I go to a con and I leave my wife, my cats, and like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. I couldn't tell you the high I had coming away from Terrificon. Just hanging out with, I mean, obviously there was a ton of people there that I had known for years through the community, but never met in real life. Only you and a Tim, I believe, were the only two people I'd actually ever met and hung out with. But coming away from Terrificon, I was on cloud nine with the community. I was like, man, this is shit so much fun. This is why I love the comic community so much. I can't wait to go back. I mean, sucks that it's a year away. And then you come to this and it's just these people like suck the life out of this thing. It's just I don't know, man. I don't
And
get
I've
it.
created a lot of memes. Another thing, like, I've created a lot of memes this week, and not once did I call anybody out other than Black Flag.
Yeah.
Because I know some people dropped into my DMs and like are mad at me or talking to other people that are talking to other people and saying that, like, I'm bashing people or that I'm hating on other people. Listen, the only person I was hating on was Black Flag. And for everybody that's watching and seen my post, you all love them. And I love them myself that I came up with them. So I'm
Well,
not like hating. I literally hate that actually was told to me today
yeah.
that I am hating on comic book people. Like I'm not at all. Like I'm hating on Black Flag, and I think it's funny.
Even if you were, I want to speak on that for a second. So, because that's something that Jem said in his video the whole time, haters and haters and haters. This is a defense for them because they label people as haters. If you don't agree with them, oh, you're a hater. Oh, you're a hater. Oh, you're a bully. It's okay to disagree with people and to not like people for their actions and the things they do. That's fine. Yes, there is a degree of hating. If you're just out here hating someone for no reason, that's a completely different thing. Being mad and hating these people and hating on the way they treated everyone at the con and the things they did, that's not hating. That's a reaction. That's a real life like thought and feeling. And people are allowed to have that. You gave them that feeling. No one's hating. They're having a reaction, man. We got to
Right there,
stop
man.
like, yeah, Winkies. What up, man?
Dude, seriously, like someone sent me your post and lambasted. I've seen all the comments on
Right,
your Instagram, like everybody in the community. It's no joke, dude. It's like no joke. It sucks. Like I don't know your full story other than what you posted and what we've shown here, but shit, man, like it's it's sad. Like, if you decide to completely leave YouTube and whatnot and the Instagram thing, you do what you got to do,
You're always
and
welcome on the podcast. That's for sure.
yeah, dude, like I said, what you put here, and I mean, I'm going to put it up again. This whole part of, you saying, um, where, hold on. Now I lost my train of thought. Where is it? Oh, uh, questions for the sake. Oh, wait, hold on. There it is. I guess all I can say for the C2E2 this year is really considering what relationships I should value and more importantly, the ones I shouldn't. And that's what we've been talking about this entire time. And what we've always spoken about is the relationships that we've had. And I know you as a person on YouTube and Instagram and whatnot, like your relationships mean a lot. And then even what you also talked about, boasting up people, getting people, content creators and all that. Like it's, again, I don't know, man. It's tough. We
Yeah, shit's crazy, dude. It's wild. But and then you kind of touched on this earlier, and we went past it. What's wild to me about this whole situation is this wasn't like, okay, so let's go back to like our podcast, the episode where everyone got up in arms over
yeah.
our comments, right? Like that's understandable. I get it why people would be like, oh, you guys, you're starting shit, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. That wasn't our intention, but okay. This was so grassroots, like the odd, like the upset, how upset people were was so grassroots. It didn't come from people like us who have a voice or out here talking about. This came from people who literally were in line taking videos of this. This came from the comic community, not the people who are in front of the comic community, including us talking to the comic community. This was so grassroots and it spread like wildfire. I mean, this isn't a small incident. This is a big deal. And it's something that's been brewing in the community for a while. And I feel like is finally bubbling over. And honestly, I think it's about time. I think in a way, don't get me wrong, I don't like all the negativity at all, but sometimes you got to cut these cancers out and you have to speak about them. Because if we keep throwing our head in the sand, like I feel like the community's done for a very long time, like, oh no, well, it's a community, it's just comic books, it's blah, 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 then you avoid it and nothing ever gets solved. You have to bring this shit to light. So I'm hoping, man, fingers crossed this shit moves forward. I know what I'd like to happen, but that doesn't mean that's the right thing to happen. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, what would you like to see? I mean, come on.
What would I like to see?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I want to see them all gone, bro. I don't that crew, I think they're fake as fuck, dude. Like, I feel like this is literally Wizard of Oz. It's Wizard of Oz. The curtain has been pulled back. You are seeing them finally for who we have known them to be for years. That's what needs to happen. I love Whatnot. I want it to continue to go. I want it to grow. I want it to have so much success. But I think when you put people like this, the fake people who everyone in the community knows are not real members of the community, not real comic fam, and you put them up on this pedestal, it's a problem, bro. Yeah, Gabe.
Yeah, that's perfect. Go
100%
ahead.
right, dude.
Oh, go ahead. I got it.
Yeah, stop buying their books. And honestly, if at this point, if you disagree with these individuals and you think they're bad people or whatever, you think this whole situation's right, and you buy a book from them, you're as much to blame as they are. If you give them a view on their Instagram or their YouTube, you're as much to blame as they are. Stop
Yeah.
supporting
I
them.
tr I tried to buy, this is, like, obviously not from the community side, but I tried to buy that UF4 from Erod on his Whatnot auction, and I told him if I won, I was gonna burn it, rip it, do the whole 9 yards, like, through the backyard, probably throw it in my pool, and I would have done that live. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
mean,
Newbie Comics? Newbie Comics, like, spoiled something on his YouTube channel about some King in Black character and bought up all these copies of some book and, ruined it for the community, if you don't know who
right.
Newbie Comics is.
Another time
Blame
when
him.
another time when Comic Tom showed his true colors and then did it all behind the scenes. And I don't want to ruin the story because I want him to come on the podcast again and tell the story for sure about really what happened and what Tom said behind the scenes on this situation. But these are not real people, man. And they need you more than you need them. That's the truth of the matter. These influencers that quit their jobs and that use this as their livelihood, they need you more than you need them.
All right. Well, I think that's been a great discussion. I think we've, done our best to keep our cool and kind of how we've always been. We've always been real. We've always been part of the
Always been real.
community, and, like, that's what the podcast has always been. So, for anybody who's never checked us out, please, thank you so much for stopping in here. Seriously, it was an awesome time. Zach and I kind of wished we did this a little earlier, but you know what? We didn't really have information. We didn't want to be like everybody else going live at the same goddamn time. Uh, and we will always be real.
Always.
You will see me at a convention. I will always be the same person. I've never changed. I've met so many people. The 3 Men in a Basement Comic Swap, Terrificon, my local shows here in New Jersey. I'm the same goddamn person I was 3 years ago. Just because I sit here behind a goddamn camera and I have a microphone, I'm the same fucking person that literally would wait online at New York Comic Con for hours to go meet somebody and to get artists to sketch something for me.
Yep.
Like, you don't
He
see
is.
me. I don't care who you are. Come up, like, comment, subscribe, like King of the Golden State says. But, like, I'm the same goddamn person that I've always have been. And there's a lot of people that aren't like that anymore. And that is why here, you and me will always be this way. And everybody in the community that's hanging out with us today, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Same. And I think all the people who met me at Terrificon know. I mean, honestly, I feel more uncomfortable when someone comes up to me and they say like something like, "Hey, I listen to the podcast." I'm always like, "Oh, fuck, okay." And I'm like, "I want to go grab a beer instead. Like, let's just hang out and ride a mechanical bull." And I mean, granted, I rode the mechanical bull to make all the East Coast dudes look like shit for real because
yeah, whatever. My back's still hurting.
Texas had to come represent. But yeah, dude, like I don't have time to be someone else. So I
I
don't
don't
know.
care to be somebody else.
Right. I don't
Like
care.
we
There's no
said, like,
fun
you have a
here.
career, I have a career. This shit's just
Yeah.
for fun. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, I just
But
do this for a literally, like, for fun. We do an hour a week. You can find us on literally every podcast platform. We drop new episodes on Friday. It's a fucking blast. Like, and this has been an absolute fun time for 55 minutes. And we're gonna do it for another 30 on Lords of the Long Box because we're gonna
right.
talk about that book. We're gonna find out where it lands. We're gonna hear what cover price has to say.
Two of the fakest dudes in this community are in this chat right now. Gabe loves 90s comics and Debucha. Okay. Bitch ass Raiders fans. Okay. They can both just fall to the wayside like the comic fam for all I care.
Yep. You know.
No, for real. Those are some good ass dudes. My boys out there, man, in Vegas and up in Jersey, right? Oh shit. Where's Debucha from? East
New
Coast.
York.
Man, it's all the same shit to me. East
Yeah,
Coast is
whatever.
East Coast, bro.
So yeah. Again, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
seriously popping in here. And we'll tell you the truth, like, we don't do this on YouTube.
No,
Zach is
hell no.
like, dude, are we gonna have anybody? And I'm like, we got 5 people waiting, and I'm one of them.
I'll push your
So
button, Gabe.
so listen, it's been an absolute blast. Zach and I got to get out of here. We got to head over to
Yep.
Lords of the Long Box.
Everyone
Real
come to
quick, I want to
Ward.
do some shout. Yeah, I want to do some shout outs. This is the new Aegis Comics of Alaska t-shirt. Bro, this shit is so dope. So shout out to Amy and Lou, Amy's Comics of Alaska. I just got this new shirt in today, so I'm rocking that. Again, Wink Inc. If you're still here, dude, you do you. That's what it's about. Like, if you need to take your time, if you want to stay in this community, again, you are always welcome to come on the podcast and just shoot shit with us. We will absolutely love to have you on. Um, this week, again, for the podcast itself, this month actually, we have 3 guests lined up, all Canadians.
Our
We
neighbors
wanted to
to the
get
north.
Yeah, our neighbors to the north. We want to get everybody on. We want to learn about their history of comic book collecting, because that's literally what it's about. Like, we're not here on YouTube. We don't do haul videos like I used to. We don't do, round tables. It's all like, it's just straight comic book talk. It's reviews. So again, for anybody new checking out this YouTube channel, we typically don't do YouTube. I typically record and then eventually drop this stuff here on YouTube. But again, you can find us on Instagram, Nemesis_Prime, Milton the Manimal, and the Comic Con podcast, also on Instagram. That's it. We got to get over to Lords. Zach, final words.
Yeah. Follow us to Lords. Thanks for everyone for coming. Like Justin said, Friday, new episode of the Comic Con podcast. Make sure you check it out. Comment below. Let us know. Hit us in the DMs. Send us more voice messages and questions as well to the Comic Con podcast at gmail.com. We will talk about them. And yeah, man, we never hide from the truth. So we'll always cover the hard topics, even if it's been against us. If you want to send us saying you think we're wrong, we will talk about how wrong we are.
Yeah, I'm sure someone's going to rip this apart and post it somewhere, and we're probably going to get some hate, and that's fine. Like,
bring it. We got nothing to lose. That's the best part about us.
I don't care.
So, yeah, we don't
care.
care.
Everybody. Go
later, everyone. Beers next time we see each other.